it rounds us into like, you've gone through a terrible time, ups and downs, and then you had a bit of a breakout, right? So like 2023, 2024, team of the year, accolades, clean sheets, all those things. Talk to him nice. Talk to him nice.
That's great, son. That's great, son.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Brilliant. So just talk to us a little bit about like that 2023 season and obviously being named the team of the year, but like kind of your mentality going into the season and why it kind of worked out for you on the pitch.
Yeah, bro. I think it was accumulation of a few things, Dom. So I think first and foremost, it was I was part of a really good team, and I know that can come across as cliche. Like, yeah, you're saying the right thing, but generally that's what it was. I went to a team where I knew the head coach. I had a really good relationship with the head coach.
That's Mckeever, right?
Yeah, I was with Mark Mckeever. So I'd played for him for 3 summers and just won a national title with him. So I won the national title with Des Moines, signed for North Carolina. And then my year at North Carolina, I really enjoyed my experience there. I really enjoyed the football. But my thing is like, I think I was 26. And I'm like, hey, I'm 26. I'm back in the game. Like, I want to win. Like, I want to make something like, because listen, we're not driving Mercedes Benzes and BMWs over there on League One. So it's like, I'm in this because I love the game and I want to win. And I felt like at North Carolina, just fair, their objective was to produce youth. So my thing was, I heard Mark was getting it at Knoxville, and I said to North Carolina, like, look, like, I want to go and compete, I want to go and win. And they told me at the time, lads, Jam, you'll probably laugh at this, Dom, I don't know if you'll know. I was like, yeah, right. Like, I've heard that before. You're going to invest. That was the thing. Like, we're going to invest in the team. We're going to invest in the team. And I thought, yeah, right. Like, because some of these, just as a little bit of an insider, lads, some of those younger lads were on like wedge because they had to give them wedge so they didn't go to D1 schools because they were all getting recruited by like Wake and Duke and North Carolina. So like their thing was like, look, we're going to bring you in here. We'll give you cash because we feel like you're going to make us cash, right? This new contract thing of like, they'll sell them to a team, and then if they get sold again, North Carolina can make loads of dollars.
Sell on free, yeah.
Right. So, and these lads were good players; they really were. In North Carolina, anyway. I'm going off on a tangent, but I left North Carolina to go to Knoxville because I was like, Mark Mckeever, I know what he's like. I'm comfortable with him, and the lads that he was bringing in, I thought we can win with that group. So when I went into Knoxville, it was like year one. Brand new team, which again, not a lot of people will be used to. Like in England, it's like when can you think of a single team that's in its first year of existence, right, lads? But obviously in America, that's common. So
happening a lot.
Just a lot of things to deal with, like haven't got our own training ground, haven't got our own stadium, kind of sharing things. But it was a really good experience. And basically, to answer your question up front, Dom, we had a really good line and a really good goalkeeper. So again, going back to the first way back down the line, Jam, when you talked about like communication stuff, I think another thing that communication does is, and come to yours as well, Dom, about like certain lads that don't talk, you stop playing like here and you start playing as a unit. You stop playing just for yourself and you start playing as a unit. And our unit's probably what we've ended up becoming known for, really, at Knox, is like the defensive side of things being hard to score against. And
100%, mate, 100%.
And I think, to be fair, I've just been fortunate where I'm one of the ones that's been thrown in the limelight because it could have been any of the lads in the back line because we've built on a really good foundation of becoming hard to play against.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, I think obviously Mckeever's not in the role anymore, but that was certainly something that carried over even when he left the role midway through this past season.
Yeah, man.
It was like, I'm sure that weight and that responsibility fell on you to make sure there were no cracks around you, right? Because,
big time.
Because you lot were the best defensive team in the league for a reason. And obviously when the gaffer goes midway through the year, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, Dom, but it's happened to me. My team was stinking and then we ended up going 16 games on the bounce. However, for you boys, you were having a decent season. Do you know what I mean? So the wheels could have come off. So I think as a testament to yourself to keep that
was exactly
together.
what it was, Jam. And you know what it was? Obviously, it ultimately came down to, it was almost like a double-edged sword because what was being our success in the sense of like, you know, clean sheets, being really hard to play against, you know, the ownership at Knox were like, you know, we want more exciting football, which two faces to every coin, right? You can say, well, hold on, I think we're 4 points off the top. I think we're sitting in third with a game in hand at the time. So we're right there, you know. And I think that whole thing of like, we want more exciting football, we want more goals. Again, you can say, because that's going to bring tickets in America, lads, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, ultimately, it's entertainment, right? So that's that, and then the ownership. So the head coach and the ownership kind of had that kind of come together. And I think ultimately what was said was like, we just want to. They both agreed that maybe there's like a. If they want to go this way, it's not going to be these two together. It would have to be someone else. So when Mark and the club agreed to part ways, the new coach came in. It was a lad that was playing the year before. And he just said, like, look, like, I'm going to be a facilitator here and try and do the best we can. Because he openly said his sales pitch was, if we win, it's the most likely everyone will get better contracts. And that just became the target. So it was like, right, if be successful and everyone will be sorted. Because again, you've got international lads that are worrying about visas and worried about contracts and partners and all the rest of it. And we just doubled down, I think, with the idea of like, look, if we keep clean sheets, we've got enough quality where we'll maybe nick a goal.
Yeah. And Dom, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but you talk about goals and you talk about entertainment.
Oh, hear it, Dom. I've been waiting for this. Come on, Jan, get the violin out there.
Let's hear it.
One certain game this year where they happened to score a few happened to be
was the game after Mark and the club parted ways.
So we've come into the game, right? They've the gaffer and the club have just gone two separate ways. We've come into it and we just won the week before, and we're thinking, right, 2 wins on the bounce here, and we'll start climbing the table. So we've come in and we are on it in the warm up. We are on it. We're thinking, and like you know the pitch that you lads have been playing on the last 2 years. It's a carpet, Dom. It's an absolute carpet.
Unbelievable.
So like we've come from our pitch, like Bobble City, over to like Carpet FC.
Goblin's
right?
Cave to Wembley, mate. That's what it is.
So we're bopping it in the warm up. We are at it, right? Anyway, 3-0 down after what, 12 minutes?
It was a quick one.
And
by the way, their goalie was having a blinder.
Yeah,
because he saved 2. Like, I honestly got ripped from the lads because I could have had hat-trick. Like, I had one, like, a free kick got whipped in and like fell to me in the box, and I've whacked it, right? And the goalie's just threw himself, tipped it over the bar. So that could have been my first goal. Second one, Kempis, our German lad, put in a great ball, and I've like glanced it with the back of my head. I'm thinking, that's in. Goalie, bottom right, flicks it round the corner. So we get a corner, and then the very next corner, Dom, right? I'm like, right, I'm just going to absolutely laying myself at this, because I'm raging now at this point. I'm like, this keeper's taking the piss, right? I'm just going to throw my entire life at this ball, because it's the big Irish boy, Mark on us as well, and I'm having a bit of banter with him. I'm like, big man, you're going to look at the ball, you're just going to try and kiss me? Like, having a bit of banter with him. All comes in, right? And I remember I seen Goose, and I thought, like, I'm just going to run into Goose. Like, that's what I thought in my head. So I've like just thrown myself. I've felt it hit my head. Don't know where it's going. And I've hit it. The ball's hit my head, and I'm looking up, and it's going right to him on the line. And honestly, Jam, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I just think it hit you, right? Don't even think it hit your arm or out. It maybe hit your arm here. Maybe
right there, mate. Like it where the shoulder and the arm sort of ridge right there.
Dom, I've given it like.
You fucking bellend.
Like screaming. I don't know if that's just come through too loud on this microphone. Like proper screaming. Refs keep straight over them. Absolute butchers. Get yourself in the shower, red card. Chavez raging. Absolute raging. And I mean, like, from the point Jam got sent off,
Oh
right,
my god.
it's been a good 2-3 minutes of like the Chattanooga boys being like, what, like, what's going on? Like, come on, like, that's not a red card. The referee's just like, get over there, like, whatever. Jam walks to the touchline, and then on the touchline, I think he just thought, right, I'll have one more butchers and see if I can reverse this red card. Takes his foot off, absolutely wallops it off the floor, and walks off. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, kind of like that. I like Jam. I feel bad now. I feel bad. I felt bad. And then I'm like, all right, we've all been there with the USL 1 refs. Like, that could have been either way.
Skelts, do you know the worst thing, mate, right, is he can give a penalty, right? At the end
Don't
of the day,
send you off.
there's no VAR, right? I haven't punched the ball out. I haven't done anything like that. And I'm sure we can pull up a clip of it. I haven't punched the ball out. I haven't done anything. I've done my job. I've blocked the ball on the line, right? Give a penalty. That's fine. But
Let's get the man in there, shall we?
Brilliant, man. No, but I do, honestly, because it was one of those things, right? I think we were 2-0 up at the time. So it was like 2-0 up. Obviously, the lads are obviously frustrated. And then it was a penalty and a red card. And it was like for a very, could have easily not been a red card, right?
Yeah, I think that's
my
the
thing
best
is
way
with
to say it.
referees, lads, right? I always think referees in the head. If you do or don't give it, would anybody complain? So like if they didn't send Jam off, I'm thinking like, don't think it would have been talked about beyond 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean? I'd have probably been ranting and raving to try and get him off. But then it would have been like, right, we've got the penalty done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, Jam,
yeah,
what did you think? As soon as this hit your arm, do you think, yeah, he's going to send me off there? Like, he's going to be
mate,
busy?
I'll be honest. Like, I didn't think it was a foul. I thought I'd just done my job and blocked the ball on the line. I'll be completely honest with you. But at the end of the day, I'll go back to, that's fine. Like, he's seen it, whatever way. At the end of the day, you're not going to change the referee's mind. But to give a red card for it, that's where I lost my rag. So anyway, like you touch on there, Skelts, where I walked over to the touchline and I've gone back and give it one more. That's because the fourth has come over to our gaffer and said, no, I've got to tell him because he can't send him off. He can't give a double jeopardy. So he can give the pen and he can give you a yellow, but he can't give him a red.
A bit of hope.
Yeah, so then I'm stood there like a fucking knobhead, right? Right, the whole crowd are laughing at me, but the fourth told me, no, mate, you'll be fine. Just stay there. Go on, just stay there. I'll sort you out. So I'm there thinking, Soundy's going to sort me out here. Ref's come over. He's just booked our gaffer and said, get off. And that's when I've turned around and I've just gone, you fucking this, you fucking that.
You were sticking it on the ref, sticking it on the fourth. Zidane,
I'm so dead.
And I've seen red, mate.
It wouldn't surprise me if the fourth told you that. The refs then went over to the fourth, and the fourth went, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, honestly, I think he just said that to try and get our gaffer on side. But like, even the liner, I think the liner got it, and he's done fuck all wrong. I think the liner got it. I said, why don't you fucking do something then?
Oh, man, absolutely legend, man.
Oh, yeah, that was a low.
I don't know what it is about you boys. Like, I'm just now thinking, like, every time I played against you, lost, the ball just seemed to hit my head. Like,
yeah, well, we just, I'll be honest, mate. I mean, the group that we had, it was a lovely, lovely, lovely group of lads. It just wasn't, I don't think everyone was bought in. I'll be completely honest. I think there was very few of us that really were bought in. And when you talk about moments like that, where it really is who wants it most, I think there's only a small pod of us, and I don't think the lads will even mind me saying it. Like, there was just a small pod that really did want it, and there's a large pod that didn't.
And you know what? At our level as well, I don't know what you think, Jam. At our level, like, it is so close that's what it sometimes comes down to.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, those little small margins of, like, you know, and I think Omaha were probably the best team in the league this year, and have been for a while probably. other than I forgot to say that last before, Dom. So I've left North Carolina. They've said they're going to invest. They'll go and get like every man and his dog that can play football in League One, and they end up winning the whole thing. So it was like, yeah, cheers, Skel. All the best, pal. So
and Goosey, who was on about before, who was a trialist, stuck around and got himself a ring.
big head. Keep it chin up, boy. Keep it chin up. I'm looking up. Cheers, lads. All the best. So yeah, so it was honestly, I think other than that North Carolina year, I think Omaha's been one of the best teams for a while, and they're just a proper unit, aren't they? So like, there's not a single ball that. Yeah, exactly. There's the gaffer there. He's got them absolutely in tune, and that's obviously, I think, at our level, what ends up getting you 3 points more often than not, isn't it? Is everyone being in it?
100%, and I can attest to that with the Tormentor group that I had under Ian in 22. We were well drilled, but at the end of the day, like, we all just wanted it so
and had the
badly.
Quality.
We had a good team.
Quality.
We had a good team.
Man.
We had a very good team. A lot of good players in that team. Like, probably in the pros, my favourite team that I've played for. I
mean, Cabral, Bill Hart, Curtis has obviously went on to do well.
Curtis, Keziah, Phelpsy, Jake
Sterling,
Dengler, TJ, Idarai, McQuelly, Kingsford.
Yeah, man.
Like,
all players.
Chris Heckenberg. Even some of the lads that weren't making the squad were players.
Good players.
Like, it was top to bottom, but the thing is, we had 25, 26 lads that all wanted it.
All in.
And that's that. I think that's the difference between, I think you sum it up well, is the difference between winning and losing at our level. And I think that's a good place for us to sort of take on here and sort of talk about the future for you, right? I think I'll quote Mark Mckeever here in saying, Jordan is a player who's desperate for success. Right, so we've kind of tiptoed around it a little bit, but what does success look like for One Knoxville going forward? Obviously, you've just committed your future to the club. As the captain leading the team and the club into this next phase of year 3 in One Knox, what does success look like for yourself and for the club?
By the way, what a delivery of a question, Jamil. Wow. What a delivery, mate. You'll be on NBCSN or BBC before long, mate. What a question.
So that's them on the phone now, mate.
Laptop closed. So, no, honestly, mate, great question. So I think, so as you've touched on, obviously committed to extending my time in Knoxville, and the large part of that is, mate, Knoxville's just ledge. It's such a cool city. And the group of lads that are coming back it's a really good core group. And I think the club have got the foundations just to keep going that way, which again, as you know, in USL, there's every chance your club can go that way or go that way. And I can tell when Knox, it's one that's going that way.
Yeah, I've seen both as of you. You know what I mean?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So it's great city, great group of lads coming back, and to where for me individually in the club, it's probably the same thing, lads. It's wanting to be in a place where, number one, we feel like we're improving, we're growing, we're developing, which is really important for me, and I think that's where I think that goes back to the trying to win the day every day you're on the field, you know what I mean? Again, it's a massive cliche, but I think, like, ultimately we all as players, or at least I do, when you walk off a day of like graft on the field and you're like, wow, we've got after it there, man. Like, you feel rewarded for it, right? To then lead into getting better and growing and moving forward. And then ultimately, I think the biggest goal is, lads, is to be competitive. Yep. It's easy to say you want to win. Everybody does. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got the same slogans around the locker room as every other man and dog. You know what I mean? So it's like being competitive, to be in a place of when we come up against teams week in and week out, can we walk away from the field going like, aye, we've done our gig there? Or is it, not we need to improve, we need to do better. So I guess that's the answer to the question, wanting to feel like we're moving forward as a club and as a player, and then trying to be competitive to the point where we can realistically say, have we got a chance of winning?
Sick. And I know Jam kind of mentioned there about Mark saying that you're desperate to win silverware. One of my close friends, Paco Craig, played under Mark at Young Harris.
What a player.
Baller, innit? He's an absolute baller. So I just wanted to ask, like, what has been Mark's impact for you? Because I know obviously you played under him a bunch. Obviously now you're under him in the program, and unfortunately, obviously you've moved on and you've got a new gaffer, so I want to be respectful to your new gaffer. But what's Mark's like big impact been on you as a player?
Yeah, mate, massive. To sum that up very, very easily, Mark was the guy that I viewed as he's going to get me in the pros. Because of what he'd done for Paco, because of what he'd done for a lad called Lewis Hiddleton, who, he became my, like, he's the guy that gets D2 boys in the pros. And I went into his environment, Dom, and it was just like, mate, I'll never forget, he said, like, day one of the summer, he went, welcome to the Hunger Games. And I was like, this is my environment, man. And it just, he just became a guy where it was old school. Standards here. If you don't meet the standards, you're getting left behind. Like, and he became someone where, I guess he became the benchmark for standards. And my college coach, Lee Squires, who was also moving in his world, I kind of had the blessing, I think you could call it, of having Mark in his strengths and having Lee in his strengths, who were the two best coaches in my conference, kind of going, having like his view of the game and his view of the game. And I remember like two things, for example, one of the biggest things I took from Lee was like, he had this idea of like spec. And he said like, don't concede set pieces, don't concede from errors, don't concede from counterattacks, and you'll be the best defensive team you can be. And it was like, okay, well, there's a good little metric to have. Like, obviously, it's easier said than done. You know what I mean?
100%.
But like, take those away, right? And then Mark, I remember Mark, when I first went to Mark had these things of like personal battles, collectiveness as a unit, and like he had it was basically like a double barrel one of like quality and like, how did he word it, man? It was unforced errors. That was the word he used. So like, win your personal battles, be connected as a unit, and have quality on the ball, forward slack, limited unforced errors. And I thought, like, right, pair them two together, you're doing all right. You'd be doing all right. Like, so that was kind of like my experience with Mark. And I think, Paco could probably touch on this as well, mate. The intensity that bloke brought was through the roof. Like, just being from like Scotland and having that like, working mentality of you've got to graft and you've got to earn your win, and you've got to earn the right to win, all those old school sayings. Like, he was the kind of guy that left that stamp on me.
Sick. Amazing to see.
Funny enough, Paco was the guy that when I first came in, he was going back with again what was said earlier on. He was the best centre back in the league at the time. So it was like, right, you've got to compete with him. You've got to do what he's doing. And it was like, there's your roadmap. And I remember being like, obviously I can't beat Paco because Paco was an incredible player, right? So it was like, how do I do? I remember he could jump about 14 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, how do I become that guy where it's like anything that comes in my box, it's going out, like bossing the box. And anything coming in the opposition box, can I be that centre back that gets on the end of things? So like, just little things like that as well. So Paco probably had a little bit of a mark on me in college as well, to be fair.
Yeah, sick. No, Paco, obviously, like I said, he's my mate. So he obviously come through West Ham's academy. He's really good friends with my brother. And so like, he actually had an impact on me even going out to the US and like giving me advice and stuff. And we stay in contact now. He's just putting this Instagram that he's engaged to his missus. I was hanging out with him in Miami last year.
Congrats to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
he's now in North Carolina. So
I know. So I'm sure we'll get him on the pod sometime. But yeah,
I'll be a ledge guest. For sure. You definitely should.
Yeah,
man, for sure. I think that's a good time for us to move on there. I think we've touched base on on a lot of your career there, George. But I think it's about time that I pass over to Mr. Okus, where he is going to take you through extra time on the Backstick podcast. Dom, take it away.
Oh, love it.
So now we're in our regular fixture. We're in a groove now. People know what we do in this section. Like I said, on the YouTube, on the Instagram, the Twitter, they're calling me Steve Harvey with the skin fade. That's what they're calling me these days. That's the best reaction I've had to it.
Give him some of the other references, by the way, because he's from England. He'll get them.
Yeah. So they're calling me. Yeah, they're calling me Steve Harvey with a skin fade. They're calling me Black No Edmonds. They're calling me they're calling me the Black Paddy McGuinness. So let's just get into this, man. So
Black Paddy McGuinness. No like it.
So to start off, we'll just take all our guests through 4 questions in extra time. We're gonna roll through them real quick. The first is, who is the best player you've played with?
Oh gosh, best player I've played with. I think this should be quick fire, but I don't want to disrespect anybody.
Okay.
You know what? I'll give you 2, right? So in England, I'd probably have to say Mustafa Bundu. Because when I was a kid, when I was like a young kid, like Dan Barlasser was a lad that's probably up there doing the best now at Borough. Me and him were always, like, when I'm talking like a kid, he was always one that, but I was too young to know the game there, but he's went on to levels. So Mustafa Bundu is probably the lad that's went on to have the biggest career that I've played with, unless I'm disrespecting anybody. And then in America, probably, that's a good question. There was a lad, right? You probably know who he is. I haven't played with him, but played against him. There was a lad called, there was 2 at North Texas, and I was at Tormento. I played against a North Texas team that had, don't want to disrespect his name, I think his name was like Cerritos or something like that. I think he played in that. He played in the final for LA Galaxy the other day. Is that his name?
Oh no, not Cerritos, the one that was at Lex this year. No.
No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of what his name is, but he played for North Texas in a team with that Ricardo Pepi up front.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And those lads, that's when, again, like, I'm talking about, like, I'm trying to volley Ricardo Pepi in the neck, and he's just making me look like a donkey, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's when you're like, he's, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that's done me in. Well, that actually answers 2 of the questions. Because the next question was going to be, who's the best player you played against? So we'll move on to our third question, which is, if you were going to go on a night out with 3 teammates, past or present, who would they be and why?
Gustavo, because he's just the absolute boy in the corner. He's the ledge, right?
He'll be buzzing with that.
Yeah, he's the boy. So there's a lad in the team now. I know I'm gonna get melted for this when I go back. There's a lad at Knox now who he's just the boy. His name's Sivert Haugley.
Oh, the big lad.
Yeah, the big Norwegian Dobie.
Yeah. He strikes me as a funny boy on the pitch as well.
He is the boy, mate.
Yeah.
Right? So
I've seen a clip of you 2 in the car actually talking about chocolate.
I'll be saying that.
It's funny as fuck, that.
Yeah, man. So just to give you some context, right? We're playing a game called Lies, and he's like, right, we've got to name chocolates against each other. Like, we've got to, so he says, I can name 5, I'll say you can name 6. We might have seen the game before. He's like, well, I'll have to do Norwegian ones. No, because how are we meant to know what the Norwegian chocolate is, man? You could just be going like, it's like, no. So, Gus for sure, because he's a ledge. Sibby, because he's a ledge. Who would be the last one? Oh, who have I had some absolute blinders with? Try to think of someone that you might know, Jam.
Tormentor days.
I'm trying to think of someone from the Tormentor days, because Phelps, he's a good boy.
Phelpsy, Jordo.
Jordan Melia.
Jordan Melia.
Oh, he can go. That lad can go. My gosh. Who else? Who else can I think of?
I tell you, I said Gustavo would love. Jordan Melia will fucking love that you've just said that.
Yes.
He'd be in the mirror when he fucking...
I'll be giving you that one. I'll be giving you that one.
Yeah.
Shoreline, big diamonds. Straight up, Jordan. Absolutely smouldering like Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the corner. I'm trying to think of someone else. Alright, we'll do this, right? We'll go Gustavo. We'll go Sivert Haugli. And then I'm gonna do it between I'm gonna have to go. I'm killing all your questions, Dom, right? I'm gonna give it the last one between big Josh Phelps, because he's the boy, right? Nicholas Molina is a lad that I was with in North Carolina, a big Argentinian lad that me and Goose linked up with a lot, and he was the boy. And then Danny Fernandez is a Spanish lad at Knoxville now that just absolutely loves it. So he'd get put in the ring.
Love it.
Sick. Unbelievable. And to round us out, our last question is a bit more of a somber one. What is your biggest achievement so far in football?
Gosh, what a question. See, cliche, the first thing that jumps to mind straight away is playing for England Schoolboys. Because if you'd have told us I'd have done that when I was kind of going through what I was going through as a kid, I'd have went, you've got no chance. So that's probably got to be up there. I'd say England Schoolboys winning a national title with Des Moines Menace after going through a tough time mentally with everything in Tormentor. Say it would be between those two. Hard to distinguish, because I think like the Schoolboys one's got like the perception of like flat, you know, but then the winning the national title with the lads, with a good group of boys after being in the dungeons a little bit with my mental health and letting the game be joyful and positive again, I think also was something I'm really grateful for.
Sick. No, sick. Oh yeah, both amazing achievements. Just for some context, playing for like the England Schoolboys at the time that you did is essentially you're like in the top 18 players that are not in the club for your age in the country. So that's a super amazing accomplishment.
Thanks, man. I'm trying to think of some boys that were in the team. That I'm trying to think, like there was the goalie was don't think he's went on to do anything. There was a lad called Elliot Kutch that went to play for Wolves. Adam Curry was a really big player. Mustafa Bundu, obviously. There was a few boys but I'm not lying to you, a lot of boys from down south, man. Like a lot of lads from down your way. Because that's obviously what it was. Again, as you said, like you start off with like North regionalised in England, right? And then you all just get lobbed together. And then you're down that lily shawl, and then it's just like, right, every man for himself. Try and get a shirt.
Yeah, 100%. So that rounds us up. That's the extra time. I've been your host of the most, just Steve Harvey with the skin fade, and I'm going to pass it back to Jam to close us out.
See, I tell you what, Jam, if I'm a recruiting agent, I don't know who I'm giving this to, mind, because Dom's just absolutely smashed that bit. So no pressure, big man.
At the end of the day, mate, I've got to facilitate that, and I've got to give him his flowers every now and then. So there's a reason why he takes full control of that portion of the show, because he's good at it.
Brilliant.
That's why he's here. That's why he's one half of the Backstick podcast.
And cracking feet. I wonder why Jam's got that cap on, but that's why.
Love, bro. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Do you know the thing? This is the first time my mates normally come on this podcast, and I normally batter them. This is the first guest that's given me a bit, so fair enough.
Nothing but love for you, man, my guy. Nothing but love.
I got all that at the back, so that's part of the back, me, mate.
Yeah, he's went for the proper like American mullet, hasn't he?
Yeah.
By the way, hey, let me just speak about Dom. Obviously, I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, right? But Jam's a lad, right? You come across these boys on the pitch that you again, you lads were D1 boy, or Dom, Jam was a D1 boy. So I had no idea who this lad was, right? But then you just play against certain lads and you're like, he's got a bit, man. like he's got a bit about him, man. And like you then shake hands with each other after the game, and you're like, yeah, fair dude. And it's like an unwritten thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I just like the way you carry yourself. I like the way you play. You've got a bit. And then normally, like in the football world, it's like you'll do the whole like chat with each other after a game, and then it's like might follow each other on Insta. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're bad boys now. So it's like I remember like with Jam, obviously I'd seen him at Torment and then played against him a few bits this year, and then I was like, yeah, he's a boy to have in the corner for sure, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. And listen, I'm a free agent, so if Knoxville want to give me
Hello.
Nah, we'll see, man. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that it comes across. To be honest, from a personal perspective, that it comes across to lads on other teams, because I like to feel like I offer a bit of that.
You do, boy. You do.
A bit of that in my own dressing room. So wherever it is next season, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can bring a lot of what Skelts has just said there. But enough about me. I think it's about time to wrap up the episode there, and I think it's safe to say we've enjoyed that one, ain't we, Dom?
Unbelievable. I knew it would be, though. The energy, as soon as he came on the call, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, mate. I had no doubts with a proper Geordie boy as well.
Well, I'm glad it took her an hour and a half to get the flipping thing updated, and then my laptop charged, and you know.
Yeah, well, you've just picked it up from bloody Etsy, ain't you? So
yeah, I did. You're not wrong. Hong.
Oh, I love it. But it's about that time, everyone, where we say, if you've made it this far, thanks ever so much for listening. From myself and from Dom, Skelts, thanks ever so much for coming on the pod, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, lads, I love it. And like I said, you've got me hooked, so I'll be supporting you all the way, man.
Nah, I appreciate it.
Man. Thank you.
Love. Anyway, as I said, it's about that time. So this is the part of the show where I say thank you for listening. You can head over and watch and listen to every episode of the Backstick podcast on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, we'll be there. Let us know in the comments. Fire it in the DMs on every social media platform at the Backstick Pod, and let us know who you want to hear from first. If you've got any further questions for Skelts, we'll let him know. I'm sure we can get a little post-episode clips going on here. But aside from that, from myself, from Dom, and from Skelts, thanks ever so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Boom. Peace.